Taberne Talks, here we go. Another episode, all right? This is a good one today, right? Because we don't bring on, she's a Jersey realtor, right? Who has her Philly license, so I'm not gonna discount her there, but Jersey is always good to get on because I've dealt with Jackie for a number of years now. I've dealt with her mother. I know her mother well. I used to deal with her in the past too, still do. Good people, frontline people, right? They deal with it every day. Right? They live and breathe this stuff. So especially Jackie, who's a social media queen too. She does a ton of social media, which I've seen left and right. Instagram, big time.
Yes, that's
right?
my favorite.
Right. So I got Jackie Kramer on EXP Realty.
Yes.
She jumped around a little bit, but they all do.
Yes.
Right? But EXP seems like it's your home now.
I've been there for a few years. Yeah.
You like it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I enjoy it.
Is it one of the best you think you've been at? Because you've been what, HomeSmart and
No. I was never at HomeSmart. I started at Remax.
Okay, Remax, yes.
And then our Remax office got bought out. We kind of switched over to EXP, and I took that opportunity to go over to Compass.
Okay.
And was not happy there, and went back to EXP.
Right.
So now I'm happily at EXP.
There's a lot of people that left Compass.
Oh,
like
yeah.
They went there because of that shiny thing.
Oh, yeah. It's very shiny.
Good.
It's very shiny, bright and shiny.
But then you learned the real deal, I guess. Is that what it is?
I don't think the grass is greener over there. I think they have a really cool model for the all-inclusive, everyone who wants everything, in there. But different brokerages are a little more a la carte, which I like to customize personally.
Right. And EXP is more... I guess it's not as big as Compass,
it's
right?
Cloud-based, and I like EXP because my office is wherever I am.
You can do whatever you want to do.
It's wherever I am. I don't really have a physical office space that I go to. It's in my home.
Which you don't need.
Exactly.
Who goes to the office anyway?
Exactly. I'm always driving, showing properties, listing appointments.
Right. So you run a crazy life, right? You're fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very fast.
She runs a fast, crazy life. And we like that. And that's why we have her on, because we need real estate agents to tell us how do you do that? How do you run 100 miles an hour all day, take care of your daughter, which we've seen a lot on social media, do real estate, all the time. She just moved into a new house, I believe, right? So and I helped her there too. I mean, she's doing a lot, right? How do you do that?
Well, I'm spread very thin, I'd say.
Do you wake up in the morning and say, I got to do this and do that and do this? Or is it just stuff falls in your lap and you just go about your day? Like most agents try to say, I'm structured and I do that. I time block and do this.
I definitely don't time block.
Right?
No,
so it just hits you as it comes?
Yes. I used to time block before I was a mom. Now that I'm a working mom, it's fluid. It's very much like water. I free flow through everything. I kind of have a general agenda of things that I need to take care of for the day work-wise.
Okay.
And then I fit those in, and usually every day as I wake, more things get piled onto the list. So it's like just adds on. So that's why it's always free-flowing.
Maybe it's good to be that way.
It is very much, because any day I wake up and boom, a new house is listed. We have to go see it right now.
You're getting a lot of listings.
I do. I do have quite a few, yeah.
Is it people that you like? Because a lot of realtors listen to this show because it's, that's all I hear is I saw your show and you had some good tips from that last realtor. How are you getting these listings? Are they people that you know, or is it just your sphere of influence of people that you closed in the past, or how do you get them?
Most of them are people that I know. I say I'm pretty much primarily referral based at this point, but I do sometimes connect with sellers on social media as well. Not always through Instagram, but sometimes Facebook is a little bit more. You can use your words a little bit more.
Right. Facebook's a good spot.
I do have a lot of success on the individual township pages on Facebook because home sellers are always posting up on there, and it's not always a direct, I need to sell my home. Sometimes it's, hey, have you ever sold your home to a cash investor? How do you,
so
clear out your home?
Questions in these groups.
They're asking questions about the home sale process. And I kind of see those questions and I'm like, that person sounds like they're trying to sell their home.
You jump in, right.
And I just kind of reach out.
Are you allowed to, in these groups, to pitch these people to work with you? It's not, I guess it's not really
I privately message them usually.
And are you allowed to do that? Whatever, right?
I'm doing it.
Right.
Nobody's saying no.
Right. Who's going to say anything?
No. I know.
Because you're helping them one-on-one anyway, so who cares?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right. So that's good. See, Facebook groups are big. If you don't, and I think any types of pages like that are big. I mean, I know that a lot of them are closed pages, so you have to become a member
Yes.
of the page.
You have,
right?
yeah, you
You have
actually
to
have
answer
to
all
be.
these questions and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
right? And then they make you a member, and then you can start. Do you do your own posting too, or no? And just say I'm a realtor
Yes.
and I do whatever.
Yes. Usually I ask specific questions. I feel like that's definitely gets a better response versus, hey, I'm a realtor. Call me if you're ready to sell.
And
Because
do they allow you to advertise in there like that, or no?
certain groups have certain days of, when you're allowed to post.
To advertise, right?
Yeah. And of course, if you do it too much, they just, don't allow the post to go up, because now they have a system where, it's not just random posts. They have to accept and confirm your post before it goes up and is seen by everybody in the
So they
group.
look at it and they say, okay, this is good. You can do it.
Some of them,
And
they're
some
all
of them are
run.
just-
They're all run by different, people just
in,
of the
in
town.
the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're looking at it and saying, okay, good. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, I think that's a business that people don't know about. A lot of these agents, I don't think they use Facebook groups. Loan officers too. I don't think that they go on and get business out of there. And there's probably so much business in there they don't even know.
Yes. Yes.
How about Instagram? You get
Instagram
business?
is yes. So I actually have my accounts linked. I'm very fancy. It's
That's
very
good.
advanced.
You should.
So when I'm posting on Instagram, usually also goes to my Facebook. So it's very
Where
get a
you
lot of
get
that.
business out of Instagram too that you see that out of nowhere, or is it like do people DM you out of nowhere and saying, hey,
Yes, they do. I mean, you mentioned I'm a social media queen. I've actually been on the low with it this year.
Yeah, well,
I have to definitely do more. But when I am doing it more consistently, I absolutely get DMs, I get messages, I get questions.
Okay.
And usually it's
Cool.
just like kind of starts things, and it's also it's slow nurturing. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, I'm ready to buy a house. What's your number? It's more of like they start following me, they start seeing my posts, they see the work that
They
I
like
do.
you. Right.
And it's almost like I'm building trust and
They
rapport
already
with
know
them.
you kind of.
Yeah. So that's why I like to share things about my personal life, not just work stuff on my
Right. So
business
the agent that we just had on, Connery, had said that he likes to share stuff about, his daughter and things like that on Facebook or Instagram and things about what's going on in his life. And he said people want to see that.
Yes.
They just don't want to see that he's an agent.
Yes.
And selling houses.
Exactly. Because it makes you more human. It makes you more relatable.
And people
you know
like
what
that.
I mean? Most of my clients are families, and people with kids. So, it's nice that we can have that connection. We can talk about that. But it's, it also just brings it back to reality. I feel like we're moving out of a space where like work and being only work is just like, it's not it. You know what I mean? That's not the well-rounded human being. That's not what
they know that's fake.
Yeah, exactly. So like the people who were trying to attain that and be, we eat, sleep, breathe real estate. I mean, I do, but
Right, but you do
there's
it on-
a
you do
lot
it
of
on your
other
own
stuff
time.
in there. Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff in there.
Right. So what's going on out there? You're
Multiple offers over list price.
Multiple offers over list price.
Crazy appraisal waivers. It's just
Inspection waiver,
Yep.
appraisal waiver, go over the ask price, waive this, do that. They're going crazy.
Yeah.
It's all there again.
Yes.
Did it ever go away?
For a little bit, I feel there was a little bit of a lull time, I'd say.
Last year?
Late last year, early this year, but it's really back. And I mean, it depends on the pricing. Sometimes there's agents who really do overprice initially, and then obviously it's not
They
going
gotta
up
come
too high.
down, right?
And yeah, also that, but
How about inventory over there in Jersey?
we're low.
Really low?
We're low. I mean,
Like-
we're seeing new stuff. Like it's exciting.
I
clients-
know. I was just told that in the main line or suburbs of Philly, it's 2 months worth of inventory, versus in the city, it's 6 months worth of inventory. So that's how bad it is in the city. Not how bad, but how slower it is in the city versus buying a house in the main line or suburbs. It's only 2 months worth of inventory. What do you think it's in Jersey?
Oh my goodness.
Less
I don't
than 2
know.
months? Or
Yes. Because I feel like they're
there's nothing.
anything that's on the market is only on for a few days from what I'm seeing in the good areas, that I
Jersey.
work.
Right. You're Marlton.
It depends on the area. It
Voorhees,
depends on the
Cherry Hill, all that good stuff.
Yes. Marlton area.
It's all gone
Gone.
the minute it goes up.
Yes.
Multiple bids.
Yes.
So how does a buyer win? I keep asking that everybody, but you seem like you
I need that answer too. No, it's all about
like
it's about structuring the offer. Okay. Obviously money talks. I always tell my clients, you never know the seller's situation. Okay. Every seller is in a different situation, but most of the time they want to net the most money,
Sure.
depending on where they're going next and everything. So obviously money talks. You want to put your best foot forward financially.
Okay.
But there's other things that can definitely add to the offer, the structure, the terms and conditions we talked about, pretty much waiving the inspections. Not having one though, I never tell people not to.
So
not to have an
right. So they
inspection.
waive the inspection, but they should do it
They
anyway.
do the inspections really more so for informational purposes only. And
Can they pull out of the deal if there's something wrong on the inspection that they don't like?
if it is major, depending on the wording in the contract that was originally signed off on, typically yes. If it's a major safety hazardous item, we can technically get out of the contract.
You can get out of the contract.
Yes.
Okay. You see a lot of that too, or
Not usually,
No.
not usually.
Okay.
Because most of the time the buyer is spent. They want to fix the issue and still buy the house. And the seller does not want to go find another buyer.
right?
As much of a seller's market we're in right now, it's still stressful to sell a house. People think, oh, sell a house. It's easy. Put it up. It's
Right.
gone.
Right.
There is still so much that goes on to guide the seller, even with flaky buyers, like
A lot of
lenders who aren't even, they're pre-approved buyers who aren't
Right.
even approved.
They're not approved.
So much stuff goes on
There's a
still
ton of
on the
stuff.
seller side. So it's still really a hurdle for sellers.
Tell us one move that you think an agent can do right now to get a deal in the next 30 days.
Oh,
Like I'm an agent. I haven't had a deal in 3 or 4 months, 6 months, whatever. I'm either this is do or die for me now, which I think a lot of people are in this situation. And I'm not even talking about agents. I'm talking about loan officers too. I think all around, a lot of people haven't closed anything
yeah.
in months.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard
There's
those
a
crazy
lot.
stats
The
from last
stats
year.
are crazy, right? So I think they're in a situation where if they don't get something
Mhm.
in the next 30 or 40 days, they got to move on.
Yeah.
They got to maybe get out of the business or take a part-time job or do whatever they got to do in order to make ends meet, which is a shame. But I think that's what's really going on out there.
Mhm.
If you were in that situation, what do you think? What are you doing to grind to get something quick? Are you just going all out and seeing people face to face, going to events right away that week, posting on social media twice a week or twice a day that week? Like, are you just going all out? Or what do you think?
So I'd say social media is definitely my bread and butter. I love it. I hate events. I don't want to go meet anyone or talk
I
to
hear
anyone.
I hear you.
I don't want to network at
Listen,
all.
that's great
I want
that
to
you're
stay.
saying this.
I want to stay
I think-
behind my phone and my computer.
I think a majority of agents don't want to do networking either.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I never liked it. I'm so glad I found the little niche of social media that helps me connect with more people. But I'd say consistency on that front with social media. If you look into it, I mean, I don't even do it this way or, this regimented. But when you are regimented and you have a system where you're posting X amount of times per week, per day, stories versus posts, and like mixing up the content, you actually are raising your visibility with all of your followers. You start getting more views. And then that's when people start seeing your things from other platforms and they're like, oh, let me follow that person. Let me follow that person. So if you're just doing it every day, all the time, I think you can really get traction locally.
Okay.
And also just when you meet people in person, there is no business card exchange anymore. That's, hey, follow my Instagram.
Right.
Hey, let's be friends on Facebook,
Right.
and then they start seeing the activity. Also open houses.
Open houses.
I love open houses. I love sitting at open houses because
So
right
what do
away.
you think? You get a lot of clients from your open houses?
No,
You don't.
no. But
Why do you think that?
most of them are represented buyers. I feel like I get very few unrepresented buyers that come into open.
So they come in, they say, I'm already working with this agent or whatever. I signed an agreement with them, I
Mhm.
guess, right?
Mhm.
Most of them have signed an agreement.
Mhm.
So you can't, once they sign that agreement, you're out. They can't.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
you
get
can't
them
do-
as a
you
client.
can't do anything
no.
at that point. So at that point, you're just trying to sell the house now.
Yes, which is why
Right.
it's best if it's your listing you're doing an open house
Right.
on. So it's hard, but I do tell newer agents, if you don't have listings, ask the agents in your office, hey, let me do an open house on that new listing that you have in the price point that I like.
In hopes that they'll get a buyer
Yep.
that is not represented.
And do it up. Like they have to make the open house an event. It's not just put it on MLS. It's put it on MLS 2 weeks in advance, mail all the neighbors, tell them, hey, come out. I'm gonna have drinks, I'm gonna have food. And then they're trying to make it like their little storefront, Because when I do an open house, I want to meet buyers, but I also want to meet sellers. I
What's
want to
your
meet
best
the
open
neighbors.
house? What's your best open house get up that you think you've seen the most success? Like what kind of food or what kind of things should
Well,
somebody do?
I just did one a couple weeks ago with a coffee shop.
I know
Did you
that.
see
Yes.
it? Okay, so that was obviously
Was
a
that
hit.
big or?
Yeah, you helped me with
Yes,
it.
I know all about it. Yes, and I forgot to ask you about
You
that.
should have came.
Was
Oh
it
my
awesome?
goodness, it was amazing. It was amazing. So we had the truck parked right out.
This was a coffee truck parked in front of the open house.
Coffee truck. Yep. Supporting local, supporting small business.
That's
They're
good.
kind of
Right, they love
newer.
that. Yeah.
They're growing business. And the house was on a cul-de-sac, so there's only like 3 other houses in, and they parked right at the end of the driveway, and the guests would come in, see the house, and then go outside and get their coffee on their way out.
And it worked.
So many neighbors were coming by and they're like, look at that. Whoa, that's such a great idea. And they came over, talk to me.
Right.
And, they weren't ready to sell then, but
whatever.
my info, I'm like, hey,
you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But you got a good turnout.
See, I love talking to people in that capacity. I don't like going to networking events to talk about myself or stuff like that.
Well, you don't like to go with other agents and
yeah, I don't necessarily.
I guess there's a lot of egos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As we know, right? There's a lot of egos and everybody, I'm doing these numbers and I'm closing this much and I made this much money and I'm right. And we got to hear all that stuff. I hear it all the time. I got a new car and all that stuff. Great.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, who cares? I only care about what we're doing, what I'm making and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Really, you got to care about yourself. So, all right. So you deal with a ton of buyers. I know you do because I help you with as many as I can.
Yes.
What's the biggest mistakes you're seeing on first-time buyers right now that are getting into the market?
Oh,
I know.
I actually haven't even really helped very many first-time home buyers.
No,
recently
you were doing a
tough.
lot.
Gosh, I know it's
that
tough.
was a big part of your network was first-time buyers.
Was.
Young people getting into the market. I guess that was more pandemic.
They're all my repeat clients now. They all call me they all call me to move again,
but you're not seeing that influx of first-time buyers coming off into this market because of what? Interest rates being too high, prices of houses being too high.
People are scared. I mean, I'm in, other groups where I don't post real estate stuff, but there's constantly talk about just the housing industry, how everyone is spread so thin, how people are packed in their houses. They need to, get a bigger home, but they can't afford it. It's like almost everyone.
And they're not even willing to try.
Yeah.
They're just like,
they're just like, wow, I think they're waiting. People have been talking about some crash. I'm like, what crash?
That's all I hear, the crash.
I would love a crash. I want to buy some investment properties.
Sure. Let's go back to 0 down investment properties, right? Or 5% down investment properties and go crazy. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Forever. I don't see a crash coming because you can't have a crash if you have no inventory, right? Because that means people are still buying. So that means the market's not going to crash. Now, when you have 6 months or a year of inventory sitting, then the market may crash because you don't have any buyers.
Yeah.
Right. So that brings all the prices way down.
Yeah.
And then you have a market crash. But when you have no inventory, you have no market crash coming. You have people that want to buy that are outbidding each other. These houses are going higher and higher. That means that's not a crash. It means it's going up still.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the crash is happening either.
Know.
As far as interest rates plummeting back to 3%, it's not going to happen either. All right. I mean, I just hate it. I hate it because, I hear it every day. Why not 3.25%? Why not 3.5%? Why not?
Yeah.
If it was me, I'd have the rates 2.5% right now. I would be loving it. I wouldn't leave my living room like I did in the pandemic and just do deals. Right? We didn't go anywhere. We sat in our house and just did deals for a year straight. Nothing. No events, no closings. You weren't allowed to go to closing because, you had to wear a mask and all that. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't do anything. We just sat in our living rooms and did deals because the rates were 3%. It was just you falling in our laps.
I know. I was busy.
I'm sure you remember.
Yeah.
Right? You were busy because I did a lot with you in that span of 2021 and 2022 when we were just cleaning house.
I know.
Right? That's not gonna happen again unless you have another pandemic or you have a world war, right? Or something like that, which we don't want. Right. So it's not something you pray for that you say, oh, let's have a world war so the rates can go down to 3%. So now you live with 6.5%. Mm-hmm. Or you live with 6%.
It's the new normal. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. When I do connect with first-time home buyers, because I feel like I may scare them off sometimes with how honest I am because I set their expectations,
You like, honest?
Hey,
no. Where did that come
I say,
from?
hey, it's not going to go back down. Don't plan to refi down to 3. You know what I mean? Because I don't want that call like, hey, Jackie,
are you out? So you're not out there saying, date the rate and marry the house and date the rate. Whatever.
I'm actually, honestly, I like to focus on finding sellers.
Right, you're
I do. Because when I
you're not even into the buyers.
When
I'm talking to the wrong person here. It's
no, you get all my buyers.
No, I get it.
But I get them regardless. When I get
right.
the listings, the buyers are calling. You know what I mean? And that I feel like is obviously when most agents get the most calls. Sure. Is just when they have a new listing and buyers are calling to.
You've been in a business how long now?
This is my 9th year.
9 years. So you started in 16.
Mm-hmm.
So you started way before this pandemic stuff and all that. Like you started in a normal market.
Yes.
Don't you think it was a lot better back then?
I was learning.
I liked 17 and 18 and 19. Those were good markets.
Yes.
They were normal.
18, I mean, 16 and 17, I was just what
started.
am I doing?
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But after that, absolutely. It was very normal. So when things got crazy with the pandemic, I just was like.
I mean, it was nice because you were making money and all that. Great.
Yes.
But it got crazy. I think a normal market was 18.
Yeah.
And 19. It was just, wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
You could make money.
Yes.
There were houses for sale.
Normal like times on the market. It's not like odd if a house is up for 2-3 months. It's like normal. That was normal.
It was normal.
Now it's like the house is up for 3 months. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with that house?
Right. That's why I was just talking about this. Like, why can't people buy houses that are 2 or 3 months old? Then there would be no bidding war. There's houses out there that are sitting for 2 months. 3 months. Why can't people buy them?
Yeah.
Because why? They think something's wrong with it?
I mean, I tell people,
then
let's go see it.
More.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
You can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can get a seller concession.
Yeah.
On a house that's been on the market for 60 or 90 days.
Exactly.
Because they got no offers.
Exactly.
They're willing to take whatever you're going to give them then.
Yes.
But I guess people think you're right. Something's wrong.
They think something's wrong. Yeah.
They think what? The house is overpriced, or they think that there's something actually wrong with the house?
Either, both. I feel like so much with buyers and first-time home buyers, hesitation just comes from lack of information, just like miseducation all around on home structure, home like functions and stuff like that. People are just like
financial illiterate.
Yes. And just like about the home itself too, you know what I mean? They don't know what to do with the home, once they're in there. They don't know if they can like fix it, if it needs fixing, they're scared of like they see something on the market for 3 months. They're like, oh, that must have like some mold in one of the bathrooms. Like everything has a solution,
Right.
So
and they don't think, and they don't want to go through that. They want, what it is, they want turnkey.
Most buyers do. That's the other thing. And I tell all of my clients that you will get a much more bang for your buck if you go for something that's not updated, just buy it, wait a year, and then put it in your new kitchen,
Right. You don't have to do it right off the bat, but they want that.
Yeah.
They
see
want
the shiny, they
done.
see the bright white cabinets,
sure.
They see the beautiful.
Well, it is because they're buying $500,000 houses that probably shouldn't be $500,000, and they know it.
I know.
I mean, they're not stupid either. So they know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I got people calling me all day, they want me to bid $50,000 over. My pre-approval says I'm approved for 400,000. You got to bump it to 450. Then I do it. And they're like, why am I doing this? Like I wanted to keep my budget at 400. And now here I am going to Alex, making me bump them to 450. And they have to.
I know.
In order to win.
To get it. I know. That's why you kind of got to start your search pretty low so that you can factor in how much higher you want to go,
Right.
A lot of these houses, like I said, some are going anywhere from 10 to 50,000 over list price is what I have been seeing.
How come you haven't built a team? Like you got some experience, right? 9 years is nothing to sneeze at.
So,
you could probably have an army of buyers agents on
I thought so. It's been on my mind, and then I had Ophelia.
Right, so the kid's getting away.
Yeah,
I agree. I hear you.
It's
a lot.
I'm going to homeschool her now, so that's like a whole
which
thing.
is going to be.
Yeah,
right. But I still think you could run a team, even
maybe
with that situation.
I'm very conscious about my work, my real estate work, and how much I am in it. You know what I mean? Obviously, I want to grow. Obviously, I want to build, but
you don't want to
took a detour with Ophelia.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you don't want to miss out on her. Obviously, right?
No,
right.
Real estate will always be there. You know
That's what I mean. So you want to have
the
somewhat
stress
of a life
and the
too.
houses will always be there.
The stress will always be there. Right?
Exactly. So I'm like kind of redirecting,
Okay.
which is why I decided, this is not the year I'm going to start a team.
Right.
This is not the year.
Have you had agents approach you to say that they would?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And I mean, it's nice being with EXP because then, they can still kind of benefit from being at the same brokerage. I can still help them if they're in my downline, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's sort of how I angle them in. But it's definitely not like a team. We're not meeting.
I had an agent that
texted
me she emailed me and said, can you do an open house flyer for me? And she said, I didn't really know who the agent was. And she said, yeah, I'm on the downline of this other agent. And I never had an agent say that they're actually on the downline of another agent, but I guess and she's with EXP too, I think. I guess that is how they.
So the way EXP is structured, like the agents that sign up under you, they're in your downline and technically they benefit from whatever you are benefiting from at the EXP brokerage. So they kind of share resources in a way. It's kind of like, they call it your sponsor, but it's more of like, you can call them for guidance on stuff.
Right. So new agents getting into the business, what's your advice? Get out?
No, I have a really good girlfriend that actually just joined. I'm very excited for her. I'm very excited for her.
Yeah.
She's just getting started.
Oh boy.
And
is she gonna be at EXP or?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
So I mean, I'd say anyone getting in, get on social media. Don't be afraid to be on social media. I'd say that. I'd say people are scared to get on there and start putting themselves out there. Even myself, sometimes I get in my little hole and I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm still talking to all my clients,
right.
But as far as, I kind of wish I was a little bit more brave and consistent with putting stuff out there, but maybe this will be
now, is she young?
Inspiring change. Yeah, she's my age.
So she's your age.
A little bit younger than me, yeah.
So you're going to kind of like mentor her to help.
I angled her to go on to a team, which I think is going to be the best move for her. So
you think most of these agents getting in should jump on a team?
Yes.
So it's not good just to try to do it solely on your own. You should
unless you are famous. I don't think that you should.
Well, famous.
Unless you know so many people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Like you have a big network.
If a lot of people know, like, and trust you, you can probably do it. Yeah. But if not, otherwise, I would definitely jump on a team just so you can at least learn firsthand the structure, the business, the ins and outs, the craziness, and you can kind of get used to it. And then once you're confident enough, definitely,
How long do you think it takes a new agent right now to actually gain traction? How long do they have to not make money? Because they won't in the beginning.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I always tell them, make sure you still have your other job, your side job, or your husband paying for stuff, because you can't do it on your own.
2 years?
I'd say if you don't get something coming in 6 months, you should.
6 months.
Yeah. I mean,
right. Listen, I'm with you.
Yeah. 6 months or get out, like do something or get out.
I think that the problem is that they a lot of them don't want to get out after 6 months. You know what it is? I think a lot of them like the freedom of our schedule.
Yes.
So, right. So they don't want to get out. Even though they
Yes.
haven't made anything in 6 months. They just like the freedom of saying that I can go and do whatever I want, whenever I want.
Yes. Yes.
But that doesn't make you any money.
Exactly. And I feel like there's a lot of agents who are just in the business just to say that they are real estate agents. And, like
They
those
like
stats, you know what I mean? Like how many people didn't sell a home last
70%.
It's insane.
I just got that stat.
That's
70% didn't do one deal.
Yeah, did not.
And then another 20% only did 3 or 4 or whatever. It was like that top 10% that did 5 or more.
Wow. Woo!
Right?
That was a good.
Jackie's one of them.
That was a good year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say
actually wasn't a good year. It was a good year for you.
It was a good year for me. I know.
Right. Let's tell the truth.
And that's the thing. It's like every year is this too. When you're a real estate agent, it's not like this. Even once a few years ago, and I was like, oh wow, look at me, I'm all referral based. It doesn't stay that way. Sometimes
for you, was it all one? Were you just rocking and then it just stopped?
When?
Like when we came out of the pandemic and these rates finally went from 3 to 6 or 3 to 7.
It was almost like this. I remember what was it? It was like October for me. It was like October.
You hit a brick
2
wall.
years ago. It was like boom, yes. And then I was like, what's going on? And then I had almost a whole year of the same workload,
But
no traction.
Nothing.
It was the year before. Yeah, last year was my last year.
I remember.
It was rough, and I was doing so,
You were working hard,
listing appointments, so much stuff, and I was making like no closings. It was really bad.
At that point, what gets you through? Like, are you just saying to yourself, I just gotta keep going, man? Like your mother, I guess, was saying, don't get out. And
yeah, I mean, I had to refi my house.
Right.
Remember? to do like a cash out refi because I was
to
like,
help yourself
to survive, basically. I had like a few months where I was like, I have no deals. Wasn't planning on that, and it's scary. I mean, but sometimes you just got to move it around, move the money around.
And then it started taking off for you again.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I said, it's and it's like a roller coaster. So it's like, you never really know.
Yeah. Roller coaster that I want to get off of sometimes, it's a tough roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's never going to just stay busy. You're going to have those slumps.
I know, which is why it's so, I know my mom always told me when I first started, she's been doing this, how long? 20 years?
I dealt with your mom in the early 2000s, even on a few deals. 2005, I started dealing with Remax. She was with Remax Connection.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we were both over there.
And
well, not then. Not then.
Yeah, 2006 or whatever. She was there, and I had met her, and she always did good.
Yeah,
she always had a good name, and she was doing business.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like she was.
She's the reason I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Right, she got you in.
Yeah,
right.
She was like, "Do this. I feel like you can do this."
Yeah, she was always doing good. So she's a testament to she's still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She's still doing it. Yes. I told you her priorities are realigned. Now her grandchildren.
Right. She's ready to work again. Right.
Yes.
And go back into business. And I think that's what happens with a lot of agents. Things happen, they have kids and all that stuff. And they fall back a little bit and then they come back full force, ready to roll.
Yes.
And they have a good sphere of influence behind them that they've closed. Like she probably has countless.
So many. I remember I was door knocking one time, random neighborhood in Chemung, and they're like, "Your mom sold me this house."
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like she has a pipeline of people
she does
that she could tap
that'll
into.
just call her whenever they're ready. They're like, "Hey, you sold me this house so long ago. We're ready."
And she falls right into it.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty of it. That's why I always say you got to stay in the business a long time in order to reap the benefits.
Definitely. I think that some
look at you, people coming back.
Yeah. I think that too many people get in and they're trying to make so much money in that first 2 years. And they're like, "Oh, I didn't make $1 million. Let me quit."
And they want to get out.
And then their clients, don't have anyone to call them when they're ready,
Right. Now you're licensed in PA.
I am.
But you don't dip your nose over here too much.
No.
And what's the reasoning for that? Well, you don't like us over here or something, or what's going on?
The parking.
Do we smell or something, or
I have a problem with the parking.
The parking. Well, the parking sucks too. I agree. The parking is not fun here.
The lack of parking, and also I'll be totally honest.
Yeah, please.
I grew up in Jersey. I don't know shit about Philly. You know what I mean? So when people are here and they're asking, "Is this a good area?" My answer is, I don't know. I'm not going to lie.
So you really haven't studied the area to say you don't even want to get into it.
No.
Right.
Because I have my
such
PA,
a successful
I have my PA
there.
license for when my Jersey clients say, "Hey, Jackie, I want to buy this in PA." And I say, "Okay, I'll help you."
Right.
Or if they're coming over the bridge.
But it's a different world here.
Totally different world.
Right. They move at a different, right. Mm-hmm. They're just, Jersey agents and Philly agents are just a different breed.
They take the keys. That's a weird thing. I used to try to do business here and they would take the keys. The buyer's agents just take them from the lockbox so that no one else can see the house. And
then you'd have to coordinate with them to get the keys.
I would just be shit out of luck and I'd call the listing agent. I'm like, "I don't have keys." And he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll have to bring keys." And then
why are they? I never knew that.
They would take the keys because their buyer wants the house.
Oh,
they don't want anyone.
So they
else
don't want anybody else to come. See, they're
right. That's some Philly shit. I was like,
"Hey
what?
Man, that is good stuff that we just got there." Yeah. I never knew that.
That happens.
That happens. Yeah. How dare you?
I joke about it. I joke about it in Jersey when I show a house that my clients like. I say, "Should I take the key? Should I take the key so no one else can see it?" They're like, "What?"
That stuff doesn't happen in Jersey.
No. I mean, not where I'm working.
I don't deal with many agents that do both sides of the bridge. Like you're right, they either pick their niche. It's either Philly or Jersey.
Yeah, because
even though they're licensed in both, it's one or the other.
Even just to go over the bridge for the day, you know what I mean? To show a few houses, like to come out here, it's like a lot,
right?
And
plus, nobody from Jersey is really saying I'm moving to Philly.
No.
Right, so they're going there. They're all
leaving.
they're coming into Jersey,
Yeah.
right? They're leaving here.
Yes.
How about New York? They're coming into Jersey too. A lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're seeing that.
Yes.
I know you are. I know.
We're seeing lots of people with big money,
With big money.
with cash,
Yeah, here we go.
buying cash.
Why does
Cash,
everybody
cash,
come on the
cash,
show
cash,
and
cash.
say cash to me? I hate cash.
I hate it too.
I don't like cash. You know why I don't like cash? Because you can't get a mortgage. You don't want a mortgage then because you're using cash.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't help me.
I know. I hate cash because none of my buyers have cash. So
There you go. Well, you deal with a younger generation of buyers, so I
Yeah.
don't think they have the cash.
I don't have a lot of cash buyers right now.
You know, but I don't understand these people where they're getting $600,000 or $700,000 cash. Where are they getting that? And right, I just don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're all everything's falling apart. The whole world is falling apart. Everyone's poor, but lots of people have lots of cash.
All right. So what's going to go on in the next 5 years with your career?
I'm going to start that team.
Okay,
I'm
good.
going to start that team we talked about.
That's good. That's what we
I
want.
really, honestly, it's been something that's been on my mind because, as we were saying, I love real estate, but I love teaching sometimes and leading. And I feel like I can lead well in this industry, and kind of cut the bullshit out and be like, hey, who wants to be a realtor?
I mean, how do you stay motivated? Do you wake up every morning and say, I got to stay motivated to do this stuff? Because there's many times you want to quit.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there's many times that I've wanted to quit.
Well, I mean, I have Ophelia, so she's like my
quit.
main motivation.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can't.
quit because then we can't eat. My house, I'm like locked in.
Right. So you got to make it work
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah. Because I don't want to sell my house.
But you're not a big marketing, like you don't drop major money on marketing.
No.
Do you? No.
No.
Like, so, and I've said this, a lot of these agents say, let's buy leads and let's do this and let's spend money here and 2,000 here, 5,000 there, 1,000 there, throw it to this lead generation thing. You're not into that.
No. But I have been reaching out to you more for personal things.
You have. That's fine.
The low key
That's
things.
more
And
organic.
I want to do more of that stuff with you because that's the kind of stuff I want to do. I don't
You
want
think that lead generates better. That's
I'm
more, it's
taking
better
this
marketing.
angle. Yeah, I want to like the thing we're gonna do with the school.
Yeah,
like
which is big.
I want maybe you or I to go there or at least bring something
Sure.
with
And talk
um.
to.
But that's the kind of stuff I want to do. Like I would much rather us spend our money on, treating teachers for a teacher appreciation week rather than a billboard or like a magazine or you know what I mean, like
a magazine.
Like I want it to go to something where it's gonna do something other
Right.
than just get our name out there.
How about the client appreciation events? You did a good one at.
Yes.
We did one
Chop
together
House.
at the Chop House.
Yes.
That was a good turnout.
That was great.
That was a nice thing that you did.
Yes.
It was a nice group of people that showed up.
hmm
I think they work.
That was awesome.
Right.
I can't afford it right now.
Right. It's a lot of money. I know. It's a lot of money.
I tried the other one last year, the sunflower one. I did a sunflower one.
Oh yeah, it was 100 degrees that day or something.
Yes,
right?
it
And
was
then
1,000 degrees. Yes,
Right.
It
And
was
then
1,000 degrees.
And then it was a storm coming or something. I think it rained.
Sort of
Right.
like the
It was
summer
I
storm.
remember. It was a summer's. She had
But-
this sunflower event where it was like in a farm, maybe.
Yes,
Or whatever. Right.
book the sunflower field so that my clients could come and pick sunflowers.
Right. So it's like 100 degrees that day. Okay. She's like, it's like you're going to die of heat. Okay. Next thing you know, there's like a severe thunderstorm warning coming.
Yes.
Like
yes. They're like, no
literally.
one be outside.
Yeah, like
And I'm
no
like,
one can be outside. Like take cover type.
Yeah.
One of those summer storms that we got. That ruined it.
I still had it. I mean, I had like more than half of the people who said they were coming didn't come.
Of course
so I had
not.
like 10
It
clients.
was like a tornado watch. It's
But
like-
it ended up not even. It ended up not even like raining or anything.
They
It was
were
just
like, I'm not going to
really
go
hot.
get a sunflower in the middle of a tornado here, man. All right, there's nothing I can do here. It's not going to work for me this time. But it was a good idea. I
Yes.
think it was outside of the box.
Yes, and I like that because not only am I doing a fun event for my clients, it was kid friendly, which lots of my clients have kids, and also I was supporting local. It was a local farm.
Yeah.
So I booked it for the day. So they made out, I made out, my clients made out. It was good.
Right. So this is the kind of things that I think that you have to do more than just let's buy Zillow leads or let's buy Realtor.com
Yeah,
leads.
I don't vibe with the Zillow leads. Like,
Well, you're cold calling basically somebody who clicked on a button. Just because they clicked on it doesn't mean they want you to call them.
exactly.
They were just looking at houses online.
Yeah.
They happened to put in their information because they wanted to know more about the house, and here they get a phone
Mhm.
call from you.
Yeah. I've
and they don't want to
closed a
talk to
few.
you. I mean, it could work.
Yeah.
But it is worth the investment. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think in this market it's worth the investment unless you have a full team calling these leads nonstop again and again and again, and the follow-ups and all that. It takes a
It's
manpower.
it's nurturing. It's not always like an immediate,
Right.
client.
Do you have a CRM that you use?
I have a CRM. Do I use it?
No. Okay. Because I know you got a lot of people.
I do. I
That
do.
you could
I
put
should
into a
put them
CRM.
into my CRM. I should.
You probably would do good with that.
I should.
You know what I mean? You put them in there and then you hit the button and it sends them an email or a text message and say, hey, the market's doing good this week, whatever you want to say. And then all of a sudden they come back at it. I wasn't doing it forever. And I started doing it over the last year. And I can't tell you how many people have come out of nowhere saying, I want to do a refinance, or I want to do a home equity line of credit, or whatever they want to do.
It's
and
nice,
I haven't heard from them forever.
But it's nice that you can do, people only reach out to me when they are ready to move.
Sure.
And they're ready to sell. They need to refi and stuff in between that.
Yeah. Yeah. That, which is
that's
nice
why-
to pick up that too.
Yeah, I do like social media because it's almost like I make sure all my clients are my friends on there. You know what I mean? So that's sort of my little CRM also.
But you
I don't
already
know,
know a lot of all those people.
Yeah,
Right.
it's and I hope that they know they can always reach out. I feel like I get calls, texts, randomly from past clients asking me real estate questions. It's always,
That's
good. But I don't do too much outreach to them because when we end our transaction together, I always leave it open. I'm like, hey, I'm yours. Call me forever.
Right.
This is it. Like, I'm not going to bother you. I don't like being bothered.
So you're not
I don't
gonna
want
mess
someone
with
to,
them.
like if I click on something online and then someone's like, hey, did you want to buy that? I'm like, no, now I'm not buying it because you're asking me,
Right.
That's
You
me.
don't
I'm
want to be
crazy.
approached.
I don't want to be like, if I'm ready to buy a house, I'm going to go buy one, like.
What about agents that are doing these pop buys and stuff like that? Do you do that or no? No. I mean, some of them swear by it. I
They're
don't
really
know.
cute. Some of them are cute. Some of them are cool. I don't have that time in my life right now. And
I guess you just knock on somebody's door
like
and
I
say,
said-
hi, I brought you cookies and I haven't seen you in a year or two, but I figured I'd stop by and just bring you cookies or something like that, right? Is
People
that what a pop
like
by?
it. Yeah. It's a pop by. It's just any reason to stop and pop by and say hi, whether they're there or not, or you can even like send a text that you dropped by or something. It's nice. It's nice to feel still important, when you're not buying or selling a house.
Right.
The clients like to feel that way still, which is why I like those client appreciation events.
Right. I guess that's not, it's a touch.
Yeah, it's another touch. It's another way. And some of the agents can get creative with it, which I like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they
Because
do
you
different
can-
things.
yeah.
Yeah, they stop by and drop off different artsy things and stuff like
Mhm.
that people might like.
There's so much crazy stuff now. There's like real estate companies who make just marketing things for the
Pop
agents.
buys.
Yeah, like little pop by cards and crazy things.
All right, so then
Wow.
the Jackie is going to keep kicking butt. I think in 2025 and 2026. I think that she's in a place in her career where she can pick and choose who she works with. It's no longer you're just taking every single client, and I think that's the
Yes.
downfall in the beginning is you just take anything that breathes.
Exactly.
Right? You're just like,
Literally.
this guy wants
You
to
got
buy.
a pulse?
You
Let's
want to
go
buy a house?
hunting.
It's great. What $50,000 house? Let's do it. In the worst
Exactly.
neighborhood in the world, I'm going.
So
You know.
can I say something else for
Please.
the agents if new agents are watching this?
They are.
Another great way to get your clientele up and started is rentals.
Okay.
Renters become buyers. They are renting now for a few years. You keep them in your sphere and then they will
Do
eventually
you
be
see
buyers.
newer agents doing good off of rentals or like they're actually making money and building?
I
a
mean,
business
it's
out of it?
hard. It's hard. You got to do a lot.
Okay.
Got to do a lot of rentals to make money, but
It's just
you're
building
running
your
around
business.
and it's also a way to just familiarize yourself with the process, the language, the questions people are going to be asking you,
You're getting
I did
experience.
I did a lot of rentals in the beginning. It's just a good way to start,
And it's like apartments and stuff like that. I guess you're talking about like or actual
We
houses.
we have residential rentals all throughout Jersey. There's not too many apartment complexes. There are. I think realtors can get a commission, but I don't. Like
Yeah,
if I have a
doubt it.
client
Right.
who wants
So you're
to go
talking
there,
about
I'd say
actual
just
residential
go.
properties.
Yeah,
that are
like
rented.
residential listed.
And there's is that inventory higher than the inventory of buying houses?
Oh gosh, no. It's like, and it's even more fleeting, because
so there's less rentals than even, oh my.
It's tricky too. You have to, like, most of the rentals, you have to pay $45 or $50 just to get the application in before they accept you to go in to see if you even like it.
Oh my God.
It's just so backwards.
They've gotten really.
Yeah.
So the ad inventory is even worse.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
I don't think Jersey, you're going to see a change in inventory for a while, guys. I think we're here to stay. We're into the spring market now. It's not like inventory goes or buyers go down. They go up in the spring market, right? So for April, May, June, historically, are your best months.
Yes.
April, May, June, July, even.
Yeah.
Historically.
June, I think June. Yeah.
June
end of June is like
the be all end all, right? Then you hit it July and August, you start to slow down a little bit because people are down ashore and going away on vacations and stuff like that. And so you roll now from April to the end of June. And then,
yes. And then I feel like after June, it's kind of like a drop off. And then the serious buyers are still in play. Because whoever's like, I'm going to go on vacation, just goes on vacation, So
but July, August, you could get.
You still get serious buyers,
right.
Like people who are, who didn't go down the shore because they need a house, They're like.
And you're gonna pick them up. And then September, October, you get that fall.
Yeah, everybody
bump.
wanted to be in.
They want to be before the end, right?
But then, like, they want to do stuff before the holidays. There's always little pops and bumps. But right now my business is focused on trying to bring more inventory to the market.
Listings.
Trying to find sellers and give them the hope that they need to get on the market.
Here's the problem, and I'm gonna leave the show with this: that the problem is that everybody's stuck at 2 and 3% interest rate on their current house right now. The problem is that they can't get over the fact that I'm going to go from 2 or 3% to 6% or 6.5%.
I know.
They can't get over that. It's very tough for them to say, I'm going to do that. And so their inventory is locked until these rates come down into the low 5s, high 4s. You're going to see those people start to feel better about listing. Until then, I don't think you'll see this inventory get corrected because people can't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, and they can't. I think that they can't afford it. I think that
they can't afford it. The affordability issues are terrible.
Yeah. And just everything crazy too with the schools. Like I feel like
the property taxes are high in Jersey.
Yes, they are.
Right? Am I allowed to say that?
And they only go up.
They only go up. They don't go down. Everybody asks me, the property taxes ever go down? No. Like if I'm doing their mortgage, right? And then we're 2 weeks away from closing. They'll call me and say, Alex, this payment's really high. It's like, what am I, $3,000 a month? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a $500,000 home or whatever. But the taxes are $1,000 a month. Right? So it's $12,000 a year, right? $1,000 a month in taxes. And they're like, well, before we close on this, do you think they'll go down next year? And I'm like, what?
No.
But I want this deal to close, right? Because we need it to close.
You're like, hey,
right?
here's the instructions on how to appeal your taxes in the town you're buying.
It's like you can appeal.
You can appeal, yeah. There's a process. Work. Yeah. If the comps are there.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But it's hard because everything's just going up. So
I'm like, I haven't seen them personally go down. That's how I say this.
Yeah.
But it could happen, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think that they may be going up. And I think that that's a problem, is an affordability issue. People can't go from 3% to 6% because the taxes are high. The prices of the houses are high. They're not making enough money and they just can't swallow going up.
Yeah.
Now, if the rate was a little bit better in the high 4s or low 5s, it could make the affordability a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And break up what you're seeing, because I'm sure you're hearing that left and right.
Yeah.
All those people that you did in 2000 and 2001 when you were cleaning house, you think they want to go anywhere? Who's coming to you saying they want to go
A couple
somewhere?
of them sold.
Really?
Yeah.
So they bit the bullet.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And they went to 7 or whatever it is, or 6.5 or whatever they got stuck with.
Those people though, they really
they needed
it.
It was
a need. It was like location wise and that kind of stuff. So
right. It wasn't because they just wanted to move up and buy a bigger house or
well, yeah, that's it.
With that.
That's it. Yeah. But like different.
Everybody has champagne taste, right? Everybody has to, I got to buy a bigger house. Even if it is 7% on the interest rate, I just need a bigger house for no reason,
Yeah.
So Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You rocked it.
Really?
Just,
Was I talking? Did I answer questions?
Flow. Before she came on the show, she said, "I don't know how to answer anything. I don't, and we're going to be cutting a lot." And,
I'm very much a jump in and figure it out kind of person.
You know what it is? Every person that I bring on this show gets nervous, but we're only talking about what you do every day.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
we're not talking about.
I'm gonna know the answers.
Yeah, I'm not talking about. Let's talk about the weather, or landscaping, or cars. Or, We're talking about what we do every day.
Yeah,
all day.
Yeah, all day, every day.
The last 9 years.
Yes.
Right. So it's not like you weren't prepared there. So if you're going to come on the show and you're nervous about coming on here, we're talking about what we do every day.
Yeah.
So you really can't script the answer, because if you can't answer the answer, then you shouldn't be in real estate anyway.
Exactly.
Like you could sit there and say, Alex, I have no idea what you're talking about. Inventory, what does that mean?
Yeah. You should bring a new agent on.
Yeah, I should, and just trip them up completely. Like I'm talking to somebody right out of the thing.
We make stuff up that doesn't
right. I could like some crazy thing.
What?
They'll be like,
and
I want to see their face just get blank.
Or they'll make it up and they'll lie to you.
Yeah, they'll lie to me to my face. And then I'll say, well, that's really not the right answer, because it's really not the real question. But anyway, that's good. I'm going to do that. I'm going to trick somebody so bad. They're going to go pale. They're going to be like, that's good. We're going to do that. But I'm going to have you back on.
Okay. I would love it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you're even more established, which you will be.
Yeah.
With your mother.
Yeah. I mean, we're not working together.
I know you should work together.
We do a lot.
You guys were double team action.
We do a lot together.
You did do a lot together.
I mean,
but I know she's a different speed than you.
Yeah. I'm very
100 miles an hour.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, where's the answer? Oh, it's not here. Bye.
We got to do this.
My mom's like, oh, when it comes around, we're the polar opposite in our work.
I know
thing right now.
Tell.
But that's like, I don't know. I kind of would like to slow down one day, but right now it's very
You can't slow down.
Time sensitive. So it's like,
if you slow down, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Unless you have, like you said, you're famous.
Yeah.
Which me and you are not getting any famous anytime soon. I don't know. I mean, we're not going to be just famous overnight from what we do. So thanks for coming on. I'll see you next time. All right. Thanks. See you guys.